Hello, comic fans. Here's Earl Grey. It's been a while since the last time I could show you an artist edition, but now you're in for a double whammy of sorts because the Neil Adams artist edition is about to reach me as well. But for now, let's talk about Jim Aparo's DC Classics artist edition. Um, yeah, a typical and decent size for artist edition, like you could see here. It's not the biggest in format, but it's probably one of the thickest in terms of page count. There's a beautiful cover for an alternate exclusive cover for Wall's comic shop as well. I would have opted for that if it would cost the same amount of money, but it is a bit more pricey, so I stuck with this one, and this is beautiful as well. To be honest with you, Jim Aparo is probably not my prime choice when it comes to bad artists, but his art grew on me when I dived a bit deeper into his stories. I mean, his art is really spectacular and precise. It's not spectacular in the sense that it's this big bombast stuff. That's the Kelly Jones way, and that's totally another group of bad stories, I think, and maybe some stuff that I would prefer. But Jim Aparo is maybe the TV series version of Batman, not the big movie screen, and it's a bit, in the best sense, pedestrian, solid stories with lots of sublime details to discover, even though the stories, for the most part, written by Bob Haney, are pretty ridiculous. I mean, you can have fun with these stories for sure, but they're a bit on the goofy side of things. This is, by the way, the motive Walt's Comic Room chose for his variant cover. I mean, artist edition of variant covers, and there's even another one, I think. So, speaking of goofy stories, this one here, The Night Batman Soul to Soul. That's in particular a very, very goofy story. The goofiest story, and maybe my favorite story by Bob Haney and Jim Aparo, is not included here. But the cover is. I mean, we will talk about this later. This story here is when Batman has to deal with a very old evil, the oldest of evil, the devil. And it's a bit, it's a bit of a riddle if it's here just Adolf Hitler or it's the evil himself. And he sells his soul to the devil, and the devil comes back to gain his the fruit of this bargain, so to speak. But we're here for the art. The story here really is a pleasure in terms of absolutely goofiness. But look at this grim Batman, one of the best portraits that you can get from whichever artist you may think of in terms of Batman. And Jim Aparo draws a great cape. The cape always moves around and underlines the movement. And even if he just ponders about stuff, it's a very melodramatic cape right there. But before we go further into the pages of this beautiful book, let's take a look at the table of contents. And this is even not complete because there's an art gallery in the back of the book, and a quite hefty one. So, but you can see here pages and pages more than 160 pages of story and complete stories with the Batman, for the most part from The Brave and the Bold, obviously, because Jim Aparo was a big Bronze Age guy after Neil Adams. So he was the successor of Neil Adams, which it was not an easy task. Back to the story, this first goofy story with the Batman selling his soul to the devil. Here we can see some of these corrections, the work in process, so to speak. Here he cut down or cut into the black shape some of these lighter lines, so to create these light effects in the dark. And we have lots of blue crayons remarks all over, all throughout this book here. These special powers of an artist edition can be seen at the very best in this story here. So I jumped a bit in the book. This is a Spectre story, the human bombs and the Spectre. Spectre, I don't know how to pronounce it. Surprise, I don't know how to pronounce stuff sometimes. But look at the very first page of this story. This is brilliant. And this looks in places not like Jim Aparo's drawings, and this is no wonder because it was drawn by Ernie Chua, and Jim Aparo was the guy who inked it. So you can see a lot of Jim Aparo faces. Here, clearly he did just his faces over all the stuff that Ernie Chua did beforehand. But here you can see on almost every panel the blue underdrawings and what Jim Aparo did here. So this is brilliant, and I'm very glad that Dunbier and his team included this story here, even though it was not originally Jim Aparo's pencils. But this is so exciting here to see how these drawings were created. And there are really some of the best stuff within this book here, because Jim Aparo obviously had a feast with his inks, could rely on maybe the stuff that was done before, I don't know. But look at this layout of that page there. And everything, each detail can be seen as blue, in blue lines underneath as well. Great drawings, great faces, great black and white. And the thing that you have with Jim Aparo almost always, how he turns the imaginary camera around, how he changes perspectives to make the plot more exciting. I mean, here really a lot of stuff is going on, but some of the other stories written by Bob Haney, they lack sometimes a bit of the excitement, and the excitement lies almost completely within what Jim Aparo did with angles and camera shots and camera movements. And this is by far fantastic. It's just look at this, just this panel here with this evil doer over there. And so it's page after page, just fantastic stuff. Coming to think of it, when I would be hard pressed, I really would say I prefer the Spectre stories in this book here over the Batman stories. I mean, the Bat stories are great. I will show you some of these pages in a second. But man, look at the Spectre stuff here. I mean, that's not out of this world. It's just great. I mean, the stories are a bit simple. They are written by one Michael Fleischer. Um, they are just, very simple stories. Evildoers do what evildoers do. They do evil, and they get what's their due, and yeah, they will be punished the hard way by this paranormal Punisher guy, the Spectre. I mean, I think here he comes really across as some paranormal version of the Punisher. Even though this is one of the crooks here. He has no problem with shooting people, so we, the reader, have not so much a problem with that he's being shot at. So, yeah, that's the plot in a nutshell. So we can, enjoy the different camera angles by Jim Aparo, all this beautiful stuff. Look at the uniforms, the cars, all the details. Jim Aparo is really, I think I have underrated him. It was not clear for me that he's really a heck of a bad artist. This appreciation comes really, it grows when you can look at all this panel stuff here, all his inkings, all the details. Look at the cloth here, all the folds in that jacket. And so you can see here the camera is always changing its position, and then you have a shot from underneath. So this is, for me, really a Jim Aparo thing. Swamp Thing picture here, which is obviously Bernie Wrightson cover, that was glued onto the page, and you can see it because it's yellowed. It has yellowed a lot. So, so much for this picture just of now, and let's look at some bad pictures, more or less random. This is obviously a Brave and a Bold story with Mr. Miracle, and you can see this is typical Jim Aparo, how the bad moves with his cape there. The text stuff is brilliant. The quality of the scans, they seem to differ a bit, but I can't believe or won't believe that this is due to the scans, the actual scanning process. For me, it's more likely that just some of the drawings have aged better than others. I mean, the ink sinks into the paper and gets blurry over the years. And just look at maybe some older drawings that you have yourself in your drawer, and you will see that some of the stuff just doesn't look as crisp anymore as it was done before. And this shows here and there. But overall, it's just beautiful, and I mean, you can't complain that drawings age. Paper yellows, that's the way it goes. Like we all shrink, and the life is a sickness to death. Oh man, let's do something fun and look how mannequins be killed in this, again, a Spectre story, because this here is really a fun one, even though it's one of the few or the two that was not drawn by Jim Aparo. He just inked this story drawn by Frank Thorne about mannequins coming to life. Probably you know the story, but there are some beautiful panels, and I quite frankly, I don't care if Frank Thorne did the most of the drawing here, or Jim Aparo. You can really see that these are not living beings, but puppets, mannequins. And as beautiful, beautiful panels full of details. I mean, you can generate a whole comic book out of this one panel. Or look at this one, where the puppeteer or the doll maker creates his mannequins there. So now to the last part of the book. And this is a gallery, a Jim Aparo gallery of covers, and a quite substantial one here. I mean, you can look for yourself. This could have been almost an artist edition. Would be a very slim one. But beautiful stuff here. Again, with the Spectre. And Aquaman. All this goofy superhero stuff. And again, Walt's Comic Shop's version in context of the cover of Batman, what it is, number 324. He did a lot of covers for sure here. Yeah, and this is the goofy story that I've mentioned before, with Jim Aparo drawing himself on the cover, and he is threatened to kill Batman in his story, else he would be killed by this gun guy there. Speaking of breaking the fourth wall, this story is all about breaking the fourth wall. It was in Brave and the Bold number, however, number 124, if this number here is correct. It's a fantastic story. Really would have liked it to be complete here in this book. But maybe in a Jim Aparo Artist Edition number 2. Who knows? And then we have some Nazis. I actually thought that Americans got the message that Nazis are not a good thing. But obviously I was mistaken. And Batman versus Aquaman, or however, versus or and. Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous how always a fight is staged between the superheroes because of some miscommunication, misunderstanding, and then right before the last page it is solved and they fight together against the evil guys. So yeah, it's just a wonderful, wonderful book. No surprise there. And Scott Dunbier had done it again. And look at, maybe this is a good ending. A beautiful cover from Batman Detective number 469. With this guy here blaming Batman for his not super duper situation there, being struck with phosphorus, or he is living phosphorus. Hey, he glows in the dark. Somehow it's cool. And yeah, don't know. Very cool book. Highly recommended, of course. I mean, how can't you not recommend picking up these books? And they're really, if you want to part with them in some years, you will always find a thankful buyer for these books. Don't be an asshole. Don't sell them for a double cover price, because you had fun with this book, and let some other people after you have fun with that book. So, however, thanks for listening and watching. Keep your eyes peeled for the future, probably the next episode, with the Neil Adams book in the same series here, which is really highly anticipated by yours truly and probably by you as well. So, again, thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.